that 5:30?
Yep. Remember that.
Stand for the pledge, please, Drew. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Village of Alexandria Bay, September 13th, 2022, Village Board Meeting. Roll call, please.
Trustee Strauss.
Here.
Trustee Dorigo.
Here.
Trustee Fulmer.
Here.
Trustee Demo.
Here.
Mayor Jarvis.
Here. Public concerns. Anybody with public concerns?
Public concern.
Oh, I sent a letter in for public concern, but I don't know how you define it.
Your name, sir?
Dave Bauer, B-A-U-E-R, for Crossman Bethune.
I've got it right here. I got your letter of meeting. Read. Yep. No public concerns. Correspondence. First correspondence is from Sam Bapiatis. It's concerned to his property, 9 Rockwell Street. Due to the construction that we did back in January of 2020 on Rockwell Street, his main concern is that there's holes in the pavement in his yard that he feels should be taken care of due to the construction back then. And if we could stop by and take a look at it.
I didn't know anything about it, so.
We've got pictures and so forth of it, but we can take a look at it.
Yeah, the pictures he sent are of the construction, not
Yeah,
what it looks like now. So
No,
it's not helpful.
His is 2022.
This is during construction, the pictures, but anyways.
Well, hasn't he done a letter before? He's been doing letters about the same thing every year.
And next correspondence is from Mr. Bauer. Concern on the corner of Bethune and Crossman. He would like the board to comment on, number 1, placing signs on Bethune and Crossman restricting the length and tonnage of vehicles. Number 2, placing controlled traffic signs, stop or yield as see fit. And 3 is removing or drastically trimming the hedges at the intersection of Bethune and Crossman Street as it blocks view of oncoming traffic. Stop sign was put up today. I'll let Mr. Perro.
So I looked in the code book, and I've been here almost 30 years, and I've never seen a stop sign where it was placed. I did get in the code book. There is a stop sign now there in this spot. We did start trimming the brush back. I understand that there may be a new owner, that corner lot. I had spoke to the mayor. We had started trimming it back, but I told them in all actuality they probably should be removed from there. Totally, because by the time we got done trimming today, there was really nothing other than it looked awful, but that's what would have to be done to get it, so it's not an issue there.
Okay.
And I believe we have a liaison that is going to contact
I didn't get a chance to do it today, but I was told that they were taking those hedges out. So I will find out this week. They didn't have time today.
So I have no problem then, because I saw the sign, but in order to put the sign up, they had to trim back about 3 feet of bushes to get to the sign.
Well, and we're going to finish, but it was later in the day. And
No, it's no problem. I appreciate it so much. You guys have always been great at the DPW. I have no problem with it. I was concerned because 2 people hit each other the other day, well, about a month ago, and they hit each other head on because one's swinging around, the other one can't see. And the funny part was listening to the trooper trying to get the 2 women not to choke each other. And the woman saying, "I'm suing you, give her a ticket." And he's like, "I can't give you a ticket because there's no signs there." She said, "But she hit me head on. How can this be right?" The other woman was going to choke her. It was humorous. The trooper put them both in their cars and said, "If you want to sue somebody, sue the village."
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I thought, no, I don't want them suing the village. I want you guys to fix it beforehand. So thank you very much. Now, the interesting thing for us is people come down going to the lumberyard with tractor trailers. And they come down Bethune and they swing, one of them, I was sweeping my sidewalk and he beeped a horn at me because I was in his way, because he had to come so close to my house. He literally almost hit my house because he had a huge tractor trailer trying to come around the corner. And I thought there should be a sign that says, after the post office, because I know we have to let trucks in, we should say, this street is not open to tractor trailers over so many feet in length. Because I made a nasty gesture to him, but he didn't respond, so that was fine. But the truth is that you cannot go around the corner without going on our sidewalk. So my question really is, okay, and the mayor knows you were very helpful and helped me put in the new sidewalk, because you had a grant to take out old ones, but I had to put a new one. The person who put in the new sidewalk, because that keeps water out of my basement, cost me $22,500 for the basement and the sidewalk guaranteed. The warranty is only good if the sidewalk isn't cracked. And when I see tractor trailers driving on it, so my question is, I know we have a right of way to shoot sidewalks, but what is my right as a homeowner? How can I keep people from driving tractor trailers on my sidewalk, which will ultimately crack it and null the warranty on my basement? Do I have a right to put up a fence, or what do we do? I mean.
Well, if I may speak.
Yes.
I mean, I can talk to the village board and we can see if we can put maybe, a truck route down, Garlock Street and non-truck route. I know there was one that used to be that you couldn't go down Miller Ave. There was a sign there. But we ourselves have an issue with even keeping stop signs in, where on the corner over by Garlock and Steagles, they'll rip the stop sign out, the tractor trailer drivers will, so they can.
Driving over the,
So they can drive over the curb.
driving
So
over
we
the
have-
neighbor's lawn and ripping the stop sign out with the trailer.
Where's the stop sign at Church and
No,
Washington?
No, over by Riverside Drive and Crosby Street is the one that.
by Back Bay Marina, Wagner's. The sign is right in their lawn. The tractor trailer back down into the boat launch and then pull out, turn to go to Garlock's and go right over the lawn and rip the stop sign. We've had some, they're going, where'd the sign go? I mean, take right off with it.
So, but I will talk with the village board and get together and maybe we can put up a truck route sign, at least it'll try to put them in the right spot, okay?
And,
Why aren't they going down Washington Street?
Because they'll miss it.
and then why do they go down Bethune when they're going to lumberyards? Because the GPSs
Yeah.
tell them to go down Church Street, turn left on Bethune, and left on Crossman, when they could have turned, you know, 3 streets up earlier, but it's in the GPS system. So we'll never be able to change that probably, but
Yeah.
from our point of view, when they come down, now you've got, 3 days ago, JP said was coming up the street with a 30-foot trailer. Somebody's coming around the corner and they hate each other, all right? I heard the guy from JP says, happens all the time, stop up at the office, we'll make a claim and pay for your damages, because he sideswiped her, right? It's a really small corner
Yeah.
for
It is.
tractor trailers, so we could use something that kept them,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna keep people with boats and 30-foot trailers, I'm a realist, but tractor trailers going to Garlock's, coming down Bethune, that's crazy.
I'll work on it.
We'll look at it this week.
Okay.
I just want to thank you for taking care of everything you have, and thank you for saying, you're right, we trimmed it to get the sign down, and also, our street sweepers have never been able to sweep the street there, because the bushes have been allowed to grow out every year farther and farther. When the street sweeper comes down, he comes down Crossman about 4 feet from the edge of the road, on this side towards the bushes, and then all that stuff just washes down on me and my driveway. I'm trying to be a good citizen and make my house a nice place, but it's really, I don't blame DPW. They can't get their street sweeper down the street to sweep it up because the bushes have grown over so far. So however you take care of it, I didn't say anything to the new owners because I thought it's not my job to go over and say, cut down your damn bushes. You know, I figured I'd come to you guys and we would settle it officially. And you tell them.
All right.
All right, thank you. Okay, take a motion to approve the minutes from the August 9th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for August 9, 2022.
I'll second.
Motion made by trustee Jamal, trustee Palmer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to pay the bills, abstract number 3.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills, abstract number 3.
Second.
Motion by trustee Palmer, second by trustee Stroud, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Trustee reports, trustee Palmer.
I don't have a whole lot. You know, the beaches obviously does not have lifeguards anymore. We're working on the lights for the Casino Island Bridge. Playground is there, everybody's happy. Pavilion looks good, they're keeping it clean. And I'm trying to think where else I am. Water, sewer, probably will be next month to talk about, moving forward officially with the water tower. I went to Laravia last week and looked at it, which is the one we want. And I think Jarrett and Pat are gonna try to go either this week or next week to look at it and arrange with Gregor. But it's amazing, just stand there and watch them, because they were working on it, and it would go right where ours is, and their colors are blue and white, and ours would be purple and white, for, you know, the school, and on both sides would say Alexandria Bay. So they're just working up, a new price for today, and, that's all I have.
I'm gonna interrupt you now. Tim, I know you got a meeting at 6, so we'll jump to you. That's what Gregor said.
That's what I said, yeah. Was that truthful?
My meeting? Yeah,
His meeting's at 6:30, so he's got a few minutes.
yeah, I'll
We
leave
just
the
wanted
meeting
to-
at 6 for that.
Yeah, so I had Tim, attend tonight so he could give a first-hand report on the Ready project and what's been completed and what the status is and what's coming up. So maybe if we wanna start with the wharf and talk about,
Oh, yeah, if anybody was around yesterday, you might have seen another big machine come in. They had to, I don't know if you heard, but they needed to get a bigger hoe ram for the rock down there. Anybody that lives in the bay knows the rock's as hard as it gets anywhere. Right out of the gate, they wrecked the point on that one, so they've got a new one coming from Ohio that's supposed to be for the hardest rock there is.
Alex said.
Very disappointing to see that happen. So they won't be back till Thursday, you know, as long as that bit comes in to get back to work on that. They're still working on getting the elevator base down so that they can start work there, and then they'll work their way back up with the machine with any other rock that needs to come out, so they can, again, get the elevator foundation in, start coming back with the concrete and steel for the superstructure for the wharf, and work their way back up out with the machine. And they want to get the concrete deck in this fall for that, but they won't do any sidewalk work till next spring up in that area.
and just to add on to that, I think at the last meeting I mentioned blasting. So they decided that blasting is not an option out there because it may actually destroy the existing wharf and push that into the water. So that option is off the table right now.
But what happens if the new drill bit comes and doesn't work?
That's a good question.
Oh, okay.
We've actually explored some options for them to tie in directly to the bedrock if they are able to remove it. We're hopeful though that they can still remove enough rock. They've taken a significant amount out of that top rock that was a little bit more soft, but hopefully they can get what's left and get it down to the grade they need. But we have, to answer your question, too, we've looked at some other options if they can't get that out.
All right.
Worst case scenario.
We're not gonna worry about it yet.
Did you mention when that's coming?
It was shipping yesterday afternoon, so they hope to have it tomorrow or Thursday at the latest.
Okay.
Give that a try. And then as far as the water plant, they've been doing some preliminary planning in there, and meeting with
the subcontractors for what work has to be done with the raw water line. We still have to meet with the electrician for some issues in there, but nothing really new, but we just wanna make sure we get everything ironed out. And it looks like it's gonna come together pretty well. And I talked to Mr. Shavsky 2 weeks ago, and he gave us permission to take the rope down in the parking lot area, since he did sign his easement, so they can have full access when they need it.
Okay, good.
So, should be moving along. I think their biggest concern right now is to get that rock out of there so they can keep working and come right back out.
Thank you.
And we'll count on it.
And as far as we know, the docks are still on the same schedule that was proposed. Doing steel work, late fall, actually late fall, maybe into the winter after there's ice forms. So that's still on the same schedule, then doing the actual installation next spring.
Were they still talking of starting demo, the third week of this month?
Is that still, or is it later?
For James Street,
Yeah.
I understood that was gonna be later in the fall.
Okay,
So they had full use of it for any late voters and,
Till after, I think, Columbus
Good.
Day.
Yeah.
That's what I
pretty sure
thought.
that's their plan.
Yes.
thanks, Tim. Great. Chris?
So, a couple things for the fire department. The board members have in front of them the new prices for the Aaron Fox addition and the overhead door, from Mr. Reynolds. So I know we needed them updated for the bonding process.
Where are we with we're talking about bonding for the 250?
So the village would have to, agree upon bonding for this, and then the village would have to take all the steps, the legal steps to do it. We have to do submissive referendum and all of that for it.
Yeah.
And then the waiting period and everything for that, so.
So what do we have to do tonight? We have to vote to approve?
You have to vote to approve to move forward with the bonding process. Can I say that
So-
correctly?
Do you want me to participate in that? I haven't heard anything specific, I can.
Yeah, well, we had just talked about it at the last meeting, and that they were gonna update it, but the board has to decide whether the board wants to move forward to start the bonding process. That's the next step, I believe, yeah.
So, right now, the new total budget predicted is $316,266.20. We agreed that we would bond out $250,000, and the fire department, to get this going, would pay the balance of this.
Well, let me just, so for the bonding, if you go through a bonding process, in a nutshell, real quick, your bonding process is a multi-step process. You'd adopt your bond resolution. Specifics have to be in that document, not a big deal. We could put something like that together for next month if you wanted it. The key is that your local finance law, section 11, will address this type of an addition. It'll have the maximum useful life of that addition. You've got to have that plugged into your bond resolution, and then the maximum amount that could be expended on the project has to be in the bond resolution. So when I hear the board talk about maybe spending up to $250, but if the total budget is $316, $266, if our engineers say, well, to be safe, your budget, I'll make this up, is $340 with inflation or something. Your bond resolution would be $340. But that's not saying you would borrow $340, but you'd have to have that number in the maximum amount, and then through the process, you'd see what grants were available, what donations were available, and you might say, okay, the most we're gonna actually borrow is gonna be $250 or whatever. That could be done, but you gotta have that maximum amount in the document, okay? You adopt it, then what happens is, Molly, and I know you're busy with so many things, but you'd have to make sure that you publish that bond resolution. You've got to wait 30 days. After that 30-day window passes, then there's an estoppel notice that Molly would have to sign, have that, also published 20 days after that point. That would be theoretically when you're free to borrow the money. And you normally don't look to borrow the money that day. You're looking to get everything in place so that as the pieces of the puzzle start to come together, you're ready to move with it. But again, the process, let's say, start to finish, 60 days for your bonding, from start to finish, to be able to go forward with it. So if you're looking at doing that, yeah, I mean, as long as I know what you want done, I can make sure you've got that. Now, if you have other meetings between now and then, if the board's intent is to say, well, let's look to adopt something, I'll make this up 2 weeks from now, as long as I know the date and the time, I can make sure you've got the paperwork to start that process. It's whatever, you know, your desire might be.
Jim, on this bond, if we, like I say, if we bond for $250, in the process of paying us back, do we set it, or do they set the bond, how much we need?
They'll set it up.
They'll set it up?
Yeah, we use a bonding company that sets all the perimeters, does all of this.
Well, and so, yeah, I mean, so let's say you adopt your bond resolution, okay? Now, once you've gone through that process of 60 days, now all of a sudden you've got different options available to you. What you normally get with the big projects that our engineers deal with, those are serial bonds. Serial bonds can be very expensive, there's a lot of steps in it, but you don't necessarily have to go that far. You have a couple other options, you know, real quick. One is a statutory installment note, it's called. That it's basically like an annual payment for a period of time, or you've got bond anticipation notes that you can go through that are usually very affordable too. So you've got some different options available. So I don't want you thinking that if you go through this, you've got to go through the most expensive process, which is serial bond. You don't. Okay. You've got some flexibility, but I'm kind of shooting from the hip right now.
So if we said 250 and they're at 316, so say we shoot for 3 1/4, we have to include the difference in our bonding?
Your bond resolution,
the whole thing.
It's the maximum amount that you could borrow. But what happens is, understand, you just put the paperwork in place. The actual step of borrowing the money is a different process. If the board says, look, we might have approved up to 325, but if the board says, no, we're not going to borrow 325, our appetite is no more than 250.
And then that's where they come in.
Then that's right, with the extra money.
Right.
So tonight, we're just gonna start the process.
I mean, if you direct me to do it, as long as I know when you wanna begin that process, I can start it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim,
Okay,
for that,
so
they need a seeker.
I-
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be part of the process too. Since the mid-70s, New York State says any time that a municipality is an agency, that you can fund, approve, or undertake an action, you've got to go through this environmental process. And that environmental process really is, what is the project for the development, and it has to include the borrowing component. That's a piece of it. But I don't think that's going to be a major hurdle in the process, though. It's just that goes hand in hand with the bond resolution.
So what we need to do tonight is to make a motion to move forward with the bonding process for the fire department.
If that's your intent, yeah. And Greg, are you involved with this as far as the
I
numbers?
am not involved with the numbers on this, so.
So I guess my first question then is going to be, okay, when I see this information that says it's 316,266, I mean, how good is that number? Do you think, I mean, because it's supposed to be a maximum amount that could be expended, I mean, is there a contingency built into that at all, or this looks like this is a...
There's a 15% contingency.
Okay. So if you want, we can plug the numbers in and work for the board on that.
And you're good with all these numbers, right? I'll make a motion to move forward with the bonding process for the fire department addition.
I'll second it.
A motion by trustee Coleman, second by trustee Strong, to move forward with the process for Fire Department.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Also, the fire department, received another grant from FEMA for just over $47,000 in new radios. So that's good. I would also like to thank Pam for the beautiful article in the TS on that. That's all I got.
Do we have anything more on paperwork for the fire department, or we'll get with you later?
I'll have to, make some calls and get some stuff started.
Okay.
Okay. Mine will be very short. Docs have been very busy, this summer, I hope we made some money and everybody had a good time. I'm done. All right.
That's it.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Me, oh, wait, let me get my right paper out here, my glasses on. The other playground had a little bug issue, but I guess that's resolved, because kids aren't complaining anymore that they're getting bit. So I know that somebody went down there and looked at the, surface, and it was taken care of, so. Tennis courts and pickleball, that's on the agenda under old business, so we'll talk about that later. The library just finished their book sale. She didn't have a total for me today, but next month she'll have a total. The books are still all out there, because people keep coming in, so they will take them down this month though, so that will be over. And they're starting their art classes again. Donna Hammond's gonna do, an art class in the next couple of weeks, so that's the first time since COVID struck that they're gonna do some art classes, adult art classes over there. Arts for Youth is going back in there this fall with, some of their programs for the kids. And Gordon Courts meets next Tuesday, so we'll know next month what Gordon Courts has to say.
Sure.
We, started grinding on Walton Street today. I got the majority of it off. It's part of the Catholic Church. We had to take, and after we did that, we went down and had to clean up the mess that we had created to be able to find out where we were at again. So hopefully before the end of the week, we'll get back down there with a grinder and we'll try to take some more of that top off and get it so you can drive down through there. A couple weeks ago, we had, and I'm sure it'll be in here, we had one of the backflow preventers at the sewer plant. One of the galvanized plugs in the brass backflow preventer had rotted out. So it quickly filled the cellar. It's not really the cellar, it's the main 3 stories down, but it filled it right to the ceiling in there before we had caught it. But it was 2 inches of water, full stream. We're very fortunate. The only thing that we had ruined were the 2 contacts for these sump pumps. That was the only thing that got fried in that whole situation down there. So we lucked out with that. Other than that, we're doing the cleanup on the streets. We're gonna end up probably pulling the meters here pretty soon. And we got 1 truck that we just finally got done, one of our sanders. So new brakes and everything, so that's been in the shop, but that's done, so.
Okay, it's been busy this summer. Great job by everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Ms. Gregor,
Yes.
does that problem that we had, does that impact us at all with our grant paperwork? Change our numbers?
No, it's, you didn't get any violations for it, I
Okay.
assume.
It was just water,
Just water,
fresh water.
luckily.
Yeah.
I asked because there's a list out there of towns and villages that have applied for sewer infrastructure grants, and the higher your score, the faster you are to be able to get the grant. We're not high enough, so.
Which it favors communities that have violations or
Yeah.
speeding permit violations.
This was just fresh water, it was
Just fresh water, no.
2 inch.
Yep. Could've been a lot worse.
Yeah.
I got a question for Jared. Now, Jerry, when we get done scraping that down there,
Yeah.
we have to put, we talked about this before, about some drainage or something that needs to be done down there.
So, and I've talked with Steve about this, and I don't know exactly where the issue's coming from. I do know that Verizon has, 3 or 4 2-inch PVC pipes that run the full length of Walton Street, all the way from the manhole on the corner by Gerber's. That's a Verizon manhole.
Okay.
They run underground all the way down the curb to that pole where we have the issue. That's where the underground fiber optics come up, and they come up the pole. I don't know if that's where the water's running out from, is those vacant, soon to be used sometime. That's why they're in there, they're extras, is what they put in there. So yes, for now, I'm just grinding it down, so it's level, but I wanna grind it right back down, all the way down, and see if I can get some drainage over the other manhole, the other.
Yeah, 'cause there's no sense, I mean, I just mean, you know, we wanna do all this work and then
Yeah.
have the same problem
But once I get it
10
opened up.
years down the road here again.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Verizon, when we open it up, because I'm gonna have to do a dig safe, but see if they can come in and see if those pipes are plugged,
Okay,
to stop all that water from draining down through.
all right, I'm just,
Yeah,
you know.
it's been a long issue there.
Yeah, definitely.
Lee?
I handed out our new sign law to everyone with the word draft out of it. That's the one that was approved by the state on August the 18th. That's in effect, local law number 6. Also, I have worked with the county on developing a sign permit application. We never had one before. This is a little bit dovetail off the town of Luray with some changes. On the 3rd page, it works well in Luray prohibited signs. And kind of, you know, people know right ahead, hopefully, you know, when they pick up the app, what they can and can't do with it. But I can't strongly encourage people to call the office first before they start thinking about anything, because these will have to go before the planning board now. And, so hopefully that we can eliminate any delays if they have a completed application, you know, with it. The planning board met last Wednesday. We approved a new business in the village up on Northern Ave, a 6,000 square foot daycare facility capable of handling up to 66 children in 5 different pods in there, plus employees with it. It's a vacant lot. There was quite a bit of discussion about drainage. That is a rock outcrop on that parcel. The engineer, or the architect felt with the manholes there that should be able to, we're really not increasing the amount of water running off them, just there'll be in more of a concentrated area off the roof with that. JCC is holding a workshop Tuesday night, site plan and special use review. I notified the planning board and gave them the thing to call the office, so as you realize, you did ask them to try to get their hours in within a year's time with that. The other issue, working with council on our compliance problem on Bethune with the docks. Hopefully what we're trying to get them to comply and not have to go to Supreme Court to save the village some money with it. Both of the attorneys have been notified, and so it's just a matter of, they've been asked to contact me. They know what they need to do to come in compliance first before they get the permit, so whether they will, we'll know shortly, you know, with it. I guess that's all that I have, unless there's some questions. I look for any input on this sign permit application. I mean, it's not in stone cold yet.
Any questions on the?
Look it over, you know, I'll, when I'm in the office and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep. Thanks, Lee. Police department had 60 complaints, 2 arrests, 0 V&T tickets issued, 6 warnings, 2 parking tickets issued, 2 warnings and 20 building checks submitted by Officer Josh David. Old business, ready streetscape projects, New York Forward.
All right, we talked a little bit about the ready projects. I brought, the payment application for DC Builders. I'm not sure if that was, you already had that, or you
Yes.
need it? You have it? Okay. So that was mainly for the temporary road construction, mobilizing, just to explain what was included in that. The work that they've done up to this date. Other items, we are working on some credits with DC Builders for some items that, there's some cost savings that, would be a credit back to the village. So, working on that with them, some constructability things that we can, accomplish the same end product, but do it a little bit less costly. So, we're working on that with them. Other things, our progress meeting was the 7th, last week. Next progress meeting is coming up October 5th, and that's at 11 a.m.
Okay.
The other, oh, go ahead, Jay.
No, I was gonna say, can I talk about New York Forward?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up next.
Okay, Gregor sent over a page about, working with us for New York Forward. We had a meeting and, talked to different people, and there was no way that we could do this application for either DRI or New York Forward this year correctly and have it in by September 23rd. Just no way.
No way.
So, we asked Gregor, and we also met with Hartley from Labella Associates, and Kevin Fuca from Dank, who's also putting together an estimate on his portion of this, if he can help us. But I don't need approval right now today. I'd like if everybody could read it. As soon as we get the one from Dank, we will include that. But between now and next meeting, if we have any kind of special meeting for anything, we might be able to talk about this. But if not, it'll be at October's meeting, because when we met, the interesting thing was we had a very small picture of what the downtown of the village was. And walking away from that, she's like, well, why is that? You didn't happen to bring that, did you?
I don't have it with me.
Well, instead of just being downtown and, Walton to Jane, she's like, well, take it all the way out to include Bonnie Castle and River Edge. And I said, oh, can we go as far as Pine Tree Point? Because that is downtown. That is where your people are coming from your downtown. And, she's done this before for other towns or villages. And, you make a walking path from those hotels to the actual downtown. She suggested a trolley, and I went, oh, I've been talking about trolley for years. But you put in for a trolley, because that goes from hotel to hotel to hotel, makes stops downtown, take people out to the Big M, the Kinney Drug, and come back. Anything that can, on the village side, that we can do that bring people in. When we do decide to start this process, we will need participation by businesses and owners downtown, in our new downtown area. They call them stakeholders. You have to have, we're going to have meetings, and you have to have people who are willing to commit to making changes, upgrades to their businesses or what they own in order to make this work. They don't just want the village saying, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. They want stakeholders saying, we're going to do A through M. And that's going to be very important. I've gone online and looked at the applications of the towns that have won, and they're pretty phenomenal. They're actually amazing. So it will take us from now, once we start, we'll have it finished by the end of May, hopefully, so that if they last year, did they announce in June? Their deadline
It
was
was
early.
beginning of July,
Okay, but
yeah.
it was later this year, which is why a lot of people just didn't have time to do it. So whatever we decide to do, we will have it ready, and we will have it ready for next year's deadline to send it in, and we will be 20 pages of, you know, shiny color, this, that, and the other thing, just like everybody else that has put in and won. And even if we don't get it next year, the 10 million or the 4.5, which is the New York Forward, anything that we do, we can use then pieces and parts of it for other grants that are announced that funding is available for. So once we do this, it's not that we're using or spending this money that we do just for this. It'll be a piece of paper that we will be able to use over and over again, the plan on this is what we can do here in the village to make us better. So this is a start. Today's paperwork, we need more from Dank, and then we'll move forward. But if you take the time to look online at it, the opportunity is just phenomenal of what could be done in this village if stakeholders are willing to commit with us and make this move for the future, is what it amounts to.
Yeah, and to add on to what Judy said, it involves a committee that's gonna have to be established. And there's a lot of community engagement in trying to develop the project. So this year is actually the first year for the New York Forward program. And that focuses on villages and rural communities, just like the village of Alex Bay. So by the time they made the announcement to have that community engagement and have meetings with the community, it just wouldn't allow enough time to get a good application together this year.
We tried. We just, you know, we had our meeting and they looked at me and said,
Not this year.
Yeah, I think
not this year.
probably the communities applying for the New York Forward this year are communities that have attempted to secure the DRI funds, so. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, so we, like say, we go through all this and then we get turned down, can you reapply, does it do this like every year? This?
They have been.
Yeah.
Alright, so
they've been
we
doing
can
it every
keep
year.
going and keep,
Try to keep going with it.
There's communities that have applied for the DRI money every year that they've had it out.
okay,
Yeah.
and like I say, the 10 million and everything else, okay.
And we would apply for both.
Yeah, you can apply for both. I think it'll probably come down to how many projects you come up with, because they want to see more projects than the funding that they're gonna grant to a community. So it probably will come down to how much involvement and how many projects you come up with.
We get
Make
stakeholders, and
Yep.
with people, to get stakeholders, we're at a point that the state hasn't said yet, but it has been that they reimbursed people once the project that they did was done, 40 to 50%.
Yeah, I think Hartley actually mentioned 40%.
40%, so that may change, but, you know, to do a project and get reimbursed when you're finished by the state, and they have it, I guess now, they are not reimbursing anybody till it's done, because they have found that, you know, people say yes, they'll do it, but then they don't. So then the money just goes wherever it goes. But I think it's we don't need to make any crazy decision today, because we have one more piece to this puzzle, but I think it's a great opportunity for the village. And I keep talking about it anyway, even though we're not doing it this year, we have to talk about it, because once we say yes, go, we're going to have 4 or 5 public meetings.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mix of committee meetings and.
Yeah,
public
and
meetings.
get people here. We're gonna have to literally get business owners and property owners here.
And I think the best thing was moving it from just downtown
I was like,
to taking the whole waterfront from Carlott's
yes,
all the way around the river to Pine Tree, and then back up through.
well, I was like a kid in a candy store when they
We were
expanded the village, and she's like, yeah,
rerouting
why
it.
are you just right here? You have to include all this. I'm like, oh, thank you, because it just included so many more stakeholders, you know, the Bonnie Castle, the River Edge, and Pine Tree, when they decide to do something. I think it's exciting.
Anything else, Craig?
The only other thing, last Friday, the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act funding applications were due, and we submitted the wastewater project for that program.
Thank you. Keep your fingers crossed.
So other than that, I don't have anything. I need to do some research for Judy, and we're gonna try to schedule a call with the Department of Health out of Albany to talk about, the water project and maybe an opportunity to do that in a phased approach. So that will probably be in the next week and a half, we'll have that scheduled.
And that's start with the new water tower, gets processed for that
We
$3
need to
million
get that
we
moving.
already have. Yeah, we need that water tower. So we're gonna start with that. And depending, where the price comes in on that water tower with the $3 million and part of the phased project, Gregor said we can do water meters, the new water meter system. That will make the office and DPW happy. And we'll know, what boggles my brain is, doing this new system, if something is leaking, she's going to know, because the computer, everything, all the meters will talk to her computer. So,
Pat's computer.
Pat's computer, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, much more efficient than walking meter to meter,
Oh, geez.
less human error, potential human error. It's a good
Snowstorms,
service for the
ice
community too.
storms.
Yeah.
Fences, dogs.
Thank you.
And if you have a meter or someone is gone, you'll know if their meter is running continuously, you can notify
That
them.
will be amazing. So many man hours saved for everybody. It will be really.
What did we estimate, 520 hours a year?
Yeah.
Just to walk around, paperwork, filling, ridiculous. What else?
I think that's all I have tonight.
Streetscape part of it, the contractor, TJ Fiacco, ordered the railing for the Holland Street dock. Hopefully next week that will be in, along with the new railing for the Crossman Street dock when he gets to that, rather than waiting for it, but that's why it hasn't been in. Just waiting for that to come in. A couple other issues. Somebody mentioned that on the ramp on left-hand side, there's like a 2-foot by 4-foot break in the ramp, and it's actually a storm drain from Holland Street going through the parking lot into the river, and that's the drain to the river. It looks kind of odd, but it's the only way they could factor, you said they had to add, what, 12 feet to the pipe in order to get it so it would drain into the river from Holland.
So what happens when you back a boat in there?
If you're way over that way, probably, I would imagine the boat would hit the next dock over.
So, okay, so.
It's, yeah, I mean,
Further away.
it's further away, yeah. Okay. Anything else, Greg?
No, unless there's any questions.
Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And if anyone else wants to stop and see the tank, just let me know and coordinate on our end.
Okay. Number 2, pickleball courts.
So, I went up there today, somebody has already marked out in the blacktop, so I don't know if,
Little white stripes?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
we do.
good.
I just marked out, I measured and
Yeah.
just hit marks of,
So, Mike is on vacation this week, he's
Mike
in Florida.
Tibbetts.
So, and I talked to Greg Wills today, he's gonna get up some numbers for me, I gave him the dimensions on the size of the court. So he is gonna look at what it cost us for the blacktop, because of course, our cost is state that compared to what he can get it for. So he's gonna get a number together, I gave him the dimensions of a court, so he's gonna give me a number. I would imagine tomorrow he'll probably call me back, give me the number on what it's gonna cost for the blacktop. I talked to Mike this morning, and, that's when I realized he was still in Florida, and he said that when he gets back, he'll get a hold of me, and we'll get a hold of Cindy, and I will go up there when he's back, and we'll sit together, and we'll get it started. They're just getting done helping other people, other townships, blacktop, so their manpower's coming back too, so. Okay.
Thank you. Anything else under old business? New business. Village of Alexandria Bay, the 2011 chapter of the Antique and Classic Boat Society is planning the 43rd annual Vintage Boat Show for 2023. We would like to reserve the village docks once again, as they have in the past. Need both the main dock and feeder docks from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, July 22nd, 2023. When they had the docks filled with 50 boats registered in past years, expect similar in 2023. Also like to have a section of Upper James Street closed off for land displays that they've done in the past. And they thank the village for their support. This is from Andy Fletcher.
Yeah, and I'm here too, so if there's any questions, anybody has any questions, I can answer any concerns you may have.
I think
This has always been a fabulous show,
Yeah.
and thank you for the work you do.
Thank you for the support, from your guys. It all works out good.
It definitely does.
And this year, we didn't have as many boats this year. It was kind of an odd year for us. And, so we gave docks back as soon as we had the people that we had, you know, as soon as we had enough docks, so you could open them up to the public.
We let them use the finger docks out of the
Yeah.
end, and filled in,
Yeah.
you know, from the land, and then told the guys out there, the dockers, that they could use them, so. We're just coming back from COVID like everything else, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, my guys did I run the docks, so
Okay.
I'm Steve DeRigo. Alias Bubba. Yeah, my guys had no problems down there.
They're good guys.
Yeah, so, yeah, and I'll, if we can, I wanna make a motion, we give them permission to use the docks next year.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee DeRigo, second by trustee Fulmer to approve Antique Classic Boat Show 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have another appointment, so hate to run, but thanks again for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Number 2, fall cleanup. October 17th to 21st, 2022.
Was that the village-wide fall cleanup?
Yes.
I just wanna make sure, and Molly did put it in there, that mattresses are the $10 fee. So I just wanna make sure that it's known that, I still do have some signs that I will put on the mattresses so they don't sit so long. But again, I just wanna make sure that everybody knows that it does cost the village that amount. And that's not counting us having to take them out and stack them in the tractor trailer, so, it's quite a process anymore.
We'll put it in the paper, also put it on the website, a highlight, you know, so.
I see you put it on there anyways, but.
Yep.
Number 3, water leak, sewer forgiveness. Marcel Alton and Federer had a water leak. Could not find it for a long time. It was under his addition. Could not see it. His water bill was up there pretty good. He's asking for any relief on his sewer bill. And typically we don't do for water, but we do the,
Average the sewer,
we average the
his
rate for
usual
the
usage.
sewer. His $1,099.
Was the sewer bill?
No, that's a total.
I did this yesterday, brought the letter in yesterday, and I didn't have time to get the total price, what, you know, we would give him, because it's been ongoing for 3 or 4 months, or 3 or 4 billings. I don't know how to, I'm gonna need a little, talk to Pat tomorrow and see we wanna proceed with this, on how far we wanna give him a credit, and I'll make sure the board's all aware of it before we do it, but it's a little more than just one billing cycle. It's gone on for about
it
3
starts-
to get that high.
February 2nd.
Yeah. So I need to reference with Pat, because we did have issues, with a meter read in between. So I didn't wanna give the board the dollar amount until I confirm with Pat and with everyone else, okay?
Well, I don't have a problem giving him a credit for the sewer, because it didn't go into the sewer. It's in the yard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion. Do you want the motion now? I'll make a motion to give, what's their name?
Marcel.
Altenfelder.
Marcel, credit for the, sewer portion of their bill as far back as February, but anything
Yeah.
farther than that, we've talked about.
I'll second.
You're welcome.
Second by trustees, motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Strong, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3 is general fund budget amendment, 25,000. In
2020.
it was January. Was it January or June? It was 2020. In the line item from the town of Alexandria for village improvements, we received a check for 25,000, which back then was gonna go for
The playground.
the Thompson Playground, which in turn got used with the streetscape. So the 25,000 was absorbed into the budget at the end of the fiscal year, and now would like to use this to bring it back out and use it towards the pickleball courts. I'm just afraid that if we absorb it into the budget, then possibly the town could say, we're not supporting your budget, we're supporting improvements to the village, we're not gonna do this anymore. So I would rather make sure it's earmarked for the recreation, like it was supposed to be done.
Right. I'll make a motion to do a general fund budget amendment for this $25 to take it out of there.
$25,000.
$25,000, sorry.
That's it.
$25,000, and to earmark it for the pickleball courts.
I'll second.
Motion made by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee DeRigo, to amend the general fund budget to with 25,000. All in favor?
Aye.
And this is for the pickleball.
And it's happy pickleballers, I'll tell you.
You're not
That's
gonna
quite
have,
the article in the TI Sun.
there will be no,
You did do an article on them, didn't you? Yes, there was an article.
a huge article.
Yeah.
There will be no more pickleball tennis wars.
Yep. And the door got unlocked.
Yep.
So they're happy that everybody's not crashing into each other and they can all get to their little spots. So, simple things please those ladies, let me tell you. And
Number
men.
4 is to hire Gage Gerker as seasonal rec assistant as of 9/8/22, $13.20 per hour, and that's for the golf course, correct?
I'll make.
Till the end of the season, sorry.
That's all right. No worries. I'll make a motion we hire Gage Gerger as a seasonal rec assistant.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Strauss, second by trustee Demo, to hire Gage. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5 is the Alexandria Bay Rotary would like to once again don't think about it, this winter, to put up the ice skating rink at the Thompson Playground, as they have in the last couple of years.
Mhm.
Is that gonna affect what's been done down there at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I was just thinking, my
Yeah.
brain.
They actually leveled it a little bit better, so there's not gonna be, 3 inches on one end and 1 inch on the other, so they did a good job.
It's a little bit leveler.
It'll accept the rink a lot better.
Okay.
Okay, you don't have a problem with it being
Chicky
there?
wanted me to put this on here, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I
I
have
called
no
and
worries.
asked for an actual official letter too from Brian, from the Rotary.
Okay.
Yeah, just so we have it for the file.
Right.
So,
I'll make a motion, we, that the Rotary ice skating rink on Thompson Playground for next winter.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee DeRigo, second by trustee Stroud to approve the ice skating rink on Thompson Playground this winter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Number 6 is, we had a oopsie. We have to pay penalties on ourselves for the golf course and sewer plant for water.
so I'm not sure what happened. I'm just gonna say it was clerk error. We do an in-house transfer of funds because water, or sewer and golf both pay out of their line items for the year for water at those facilities. And when the billing came out, I don't know where they went, and I charged late fees to the village's water and sewer, or bill, golf and sewer bill, so I'm asking forgiveness from the board due to clerk error. I will take all the blame.
I'll make a motion to forgive the water sewer bill late fees for golf course and sewer plant.
I'll second it.
Forgiveness for the golf and sewer. Motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Stroud. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anything else? For the board?
See, the only thing I was wondering, the Cat Thompson Playground sign, I know I was on vacation when everybody had met. I didn't know where we were standing at with that sign getting put back up, or are we gonna hold off till spring?
Whenever he returns to the village,
Okay,
he's supposed to put it up,
Okay, all right,
Mr. Bianco. When they come to finish Holland Street and start working on Crossman, they're supposed to put that sign up.
thank you.
Public concern. Anything public? Motion go to executive for specific personnel.
I'll make a motion, we go to executive specific personnel.
A second.
Motion by DeRigo, second by trustee Demo. All in favor?
Indeed.
Aye.
Andy?
I just have a quick question. So, I didn't know you were gonna build new pickleball courts. So you are? You gonna build a pickleball court?
Oh, boy. Excuse me?
I know, there's all that discussion.
How many
back.
times have we talked?
But they keep telling you to pace and change.
Do we need to?
Alright, so how many, so
We need you.
you're gonna go ahead with it, and will it be this fall?
Does
Where-
leave on it. Thank you very much, sir.
When you pull into the golf course,
Yeah.
and then pickleball, or the courts are on the left,
I know it.
where that,
Like I said, I just got
You're gonna be on the other side of the
Yeah,
road?
no, I.
where the parking lot is,
Yeah.
that's gonna be where the court is.
Okay, so,
And then, on the other side,
yeah.
we will make a new parking lot.
Oh, so how many courts?
2.
Okay,
Okay, good.
Thank
And
you.
so when do you think they'll do it, like in the spring or fall?
We're hoping
Depends
to
on
get
rain,
the
or, well,
the blacktop down
Yeah.
this fall before the plant closes.
okay, then what about the fence?
the fence, that might
By the cemetery?
take till spring, but,
Okay.
see, the fence that was at the Thompson Playground
Oh,
was
yeah.
carefully taken down,
Hey,
rolled,
yeah.
and stacked so that we can use it with